Goose Island has released their 2025 lineup for the Bourbon County Brand family of stouts, and we could not be more excited. I am really looking forward to the chocolate praline stout. Cody, what about you?
I'm looking forward to having cherries in my Bourbon County Barrel Aged Stouts this year. Cherries, the best.
This is, for us, the most wonderful time of the year. I'm Brian Noonan, host of the award-winning Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host and the executive producer, Cody Goff. Cody, cherries piquing your interest this year?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. We get like an exclusive first look, just announced literally the minute we're posting this, is this year's lineup. And we're going to kind of break down all of them. I'm just going to list them right now, just so we've got the 10,000-foot overview before we dive into each one.
Yes.
We've got
list them up.
The 2025 Bourbon County Brand Original Stout. We've got the Bourbon County Brand Cherries Jubilee Stout. Dying to have that. The Bourbon County Brand
Flambe
Chocolate Praline Stout. The 2025, of course, Bourbon County Brand Proprietor Stout, which is always different every year. The Proprietor's brand, we'll talk about that soon. The Double Barrel Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond Stout. It's a mouthful.
Which we will explain what bottled in bond means in case people don't know.
Sure. And the Bourbon County Brand Parker's Heritage Reserve Stout. So the original plus 5 variants for a grand total of 6 amazing versions of Goose Island Bourbon County Brand Stout in 2025.
The interesting thing is, as we go through and describe what we've received, the facts from Goose Island, the current ABVs are not available. So we don't know until the final batches are bottled what the ABVs are going to be. Let's start with the original, because every year, being the original, it's always fantastic because Goose Island Bourbon County Brand Stout was the first. The first one, they were actually not allowed to compete in the Great American Beer Fest at that time in 1992 because there was no category for bourbon barrel-aged stouts. So it's all brand new. Cody, what can we expect from this year's original?
Yeah, this year's original stout is going to have tasting notes of vanilla, cherry, cocoa, toasted almond, and caramelized sugar. A little bit of a variation slightly on previous years, but you always get something solid with the original. The most exciting thing about the original this year, big change, original will be available in 4 packs of 10-ounce bottles. Which,
how great is that?
It's so good because, these are big bottles. It's good to share them. If you got a night at home, you can always have one on your own.
Sure.
But it's a lot of beer. So, having the 10-ounce bottles just really opens up the possibilities for drinking more and more of these.
It's nice because as much as I love my wife, she will not join me in a Bourbon County Stout. So when I open one of the big bottles with the high ABV, I'm like, well, I'm going to waste some of it, because I can't just down the whole thing and then write off the night. So a 10-ounce bottle is going to be fantastic. A nice 1.5 servings, and you're good to go and you can relax. So it's going to be fun. All right, let's move on to the second one you mentioned, which is the one you are the most excited about in advance, the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Cherries Jubilee Stout. As you describe it, what is it about the description on paper that piqued your interest?
Well, I'll start, first of all, high level with the tasting notes. It's going to have tasting notes of burnished cocoa and vibrant dark stone fruit with a caramelized citrus finish. But the style, so it's an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels, finished in cognac barrels with Montmorency cherries, citrus, and panela. And cherries in a good bourbon barrel aged stout, they're not too sweet. They always really complement it well. It's just a good combination. It's a winning combination. There's at least one other kind of bigger brewery in Chicago that I won't name that has its own barrel aged stout with cherries, and it's one of my favorite variants that they do on their stout. So the fact that Goose Island is doing it and Bourbon County Brand Stout is pretty top tier means I know it's going to be very delicious.
Well, I am a big chocolate guy, so when I saw this next offering, I'm in 100% just from the description of the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Chocolate Praline, or maybe you say Praline if you live in the South, but the Praline Stout. Tasting notes, rich fudge with toasted marzipan and chewy toffee. Again, I'm in. The style is obviously an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels with cocoa nibs, hazelnuts, almonds. Once again, we cannot sleep on the almonds, and dates. So we all know that Bourbon County Brand Stout is built for aging. So this because as the beer ages, it takes on a different transformation in the barrel. So those flavors of this year's original are at the forefront of the chocolate praline stout. It was aged in freshly emptied bourbon barrels. It draws inspiration from the underlying decadence of chocolate, caramel, and roasted nuts found in the original. It's layered with a blend of cocoa nibs, hazelnuts, almonds, cashews, and dates. It gives a full body that showcases the classic flavors of a chocolate praline while embracing the subtle nuances imparted by the bourbon barrel. I'm kind of glad this one doesn't come in a 10-ounce bottle because it will give me an excuse to sit out on the deck with a fire and just enjoy the whole thing by myself. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
Next on the list is one that if you live in the Chicago area, you know how excited everybody gets about it. Cody, tell us about the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Proprietor's Stout.
Yeah, so the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Proprietor's Stout. The Proprietor's blend, as we know, different recipe every year, different team behind it, different brewer, different inspiration. In past years, they've had ones that you might describe as tasting like something. Like, for example, one year there was a Proprietor's blend that tasted like Spumoni, when you got all the different layers of flavor for that. This one, at a very high 10,000 foot overview, the 2025 Proprietor's Stout is based on baklava. So we are talking about tasting notes of caramelized honeycomb, baking spice, and roasted candied nuts. It is described as the style is an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels with walnuts, pistachios, cassia bark, and honey, which already is a combination that I like. Because what if you've never had Proprietor's blend? And this, by the way, this is the only variant that is only available in Chicago markets. Got to be in the Chicago area to get the Proprietor's Stout. All the rest will have national distribution, but this one you got to be here to have. And what they've always been able to do is strike a really good balance. So you will taste all of those notes. Like all of them will come through if it's anything like past Proprietor's blends, which is why it's particularly exciting. So this one was inspired by the beehives on the brewer's aunt's Rhode Island homestead. This comes from Goose Island brewer Colby McGrattan, who was immediately drawn to the flavors of the crisp and nutty homemade baklava, an idea she knew would be perfect for the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Proprietor's Stout. So I mentioned the tasting notes, but the stout boasts a dessert-inspired expression with layers of comforting warmth, deeply roasted nuts, and a subtly sweet finish. So it sounds like a nice dessert beer, and it
sure does.
It's going to be pretty sweet.
And as you mentioned, the last few Proprietor's blends have moved a little bit more toward that dessert. There was tiramisu, there was the spumoni. Moving right along to the next thing, and Cody, can I please have some props that I didn't giggle when you said candied nuts? Can I? No?
Is the bar
right.
that low? It is, isn't it? It is. Yes, you'll get props.
For me.
You get props.
All right. So the next on the list, the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Double Barrel Stout. Looking at the tasting notes for this one, toasted marshmallows, warm vanilla, and a pronounced oak finish, which we know comes from, yes, the barrel. It's a barrel-aged, double barrel-aged in Heaven Hill bottled in bond bourbon barrels. Now, you may be saying, what is bottled in bond? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But the reason, according to the folks at Goose Island, that they always choose Heaven Hill, or they chose them for this, is because there is a dedication to their craft that they find at Heaven Hill. So we talked about how Bourbon County Original Stout gets different flavors as it ages. So this is all about the barrel. In collaboration with Heaven Hill, they aged this release in not one, but two sets of freshly emptied Heaven Hill bottled in bond bourbon barrels. They centered on the nuanced complexity of the whiskey, and then the resulting beer is a true collaboration of bourbon, collaboration, and the most essential element of every Bourbon County release, Cody?
Alcohol?
The barrel itself.
Oh, sure.
Oh, the barrel itself. All right, so this is, if you're wondering and you don't know, real quick, the Bottled in Bond Act was signed in March of 1897. It established a government-backed guarantee of quality in American whiskey by enforcing strict standards for origin, distilling, aging, and labeling. They are rigorous in their criteria. The act became a trusted marker of excellence and a clear statement of craftsmanship from participating distilleries. Heaven Hill filled its first barrel of whiskey in December of 1935, and Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond straight bourbon whiskey stands a class above. So this is going to be one, if you are a big fan of that oak finish and that whiskey flavor, the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Double Barrel Stout is going to be for you, I would imagine.
They're all going to be
Next
for me.
Next on the list.
Actually, they're all going to be for me.
They're all going to be for, yeah. They're, some people like some more ingredients. Some people really dig the oak notes from the straight up barrel beers. There's a little something for everybody. Cody, what about the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Reserve Stout?
Well, what I can tell you about the 2025 Bourbon County Brand Reserve Stout is that it has tasting notes, layers of dried fruit and marzipan with nuanced rye spice. Makes me sound rich. You sound just wealthy. It's fantastic. This was an Imperial Stout aged 2 years in Parker's Heritage Collection 10-year 17th edition rye whiskey barrels. Parker Beam began his distilling career at Heaven Hill in 1960, became a sixth-generation master distiller in 1975, over 5 decades, built quite the reputation, and now has the Parker's Heritage Collection, which is a benchmark of excellence within the whiskey industry, I am told.
Nice. By
people who know more about the whiskey
That's the word.
Industry.
The word on the street.
Than me, which is anybody, frankly, that knows anything about whiskey. And it has a longer aging period. There's an extended aging that goes beyond the brewery's traditional process. That draws out even more flavors after 2 years in casks, including layers of cocoa, dried fruit, spice, and toasted oak, which gives you a rich expression of Bourbon County, one that rewards patience, 2 years of patience, and reflects a legacy built slowly, barrel by barrel. Also, the 17th edition, a 10-year-old Kentucky straight rye bottled at full cask strength is what is going to bring a lot of character into this. Okay. The barrels are first aged the prized whiskey before being filled with Goose Island's stout, which gives you rye spice and layered oak complexity that you're not just going to get from aging in 1 year, barrels in for 1 year, but it sounds like this is going to be a beer or whiskey guy's beer. Like, if you enjoy the finer nuances, like if you've got a refined palate, I feel like this one is going to be worthwhile.
And there's a differentiation between people who like bourbon and people who like rye. So there are subtle and not so subtle differences in the tasting menu of both of those whiskeys, and those will be imparted by the barrels. So it's going to be exciting to see. Our good friend Mike Siegel, who is the Senior Innovation Manager, once again talked about Heaven Hill. He said they produce a world-class whiskey across a range of brands, including several that Goose Island has partnered with for Bourbon County over the years, such as Elijah Craig, Old Fitzgerald, Larceny, and Rittenhouse Rye. And this 2020 Carmela Ale that I've been enjoying during this was aged in Larceny bourbon barrels. So another very promising lineup for the Bourbon County Brand Stouts coming out on Black Friday this year.
Yeah, I am going to be drinking barrel-aged stouts tonight, even though it's July, because I am so in the mood already. I know you said this is the best time of year, but I think the best time of year is when these actually come out and we can drink them. So November.
Well, the announcement.
Nice to get excited about them, though.
It is nice to get excited about it. It's nice to have a little, as you mentioned earlier, advance notice so you can see and plan ahead and say, okay, what ones do I have to make sure I get? Yeah. And so I've got a few on the list. I'm ready to go. But the proof is in the pudding or in the bottle, and we will see, because, like I said, on paper, everything sounds fantastic. But we all know, that in the bottle, they're going to be just as fantastic as on paper. So it's going to be a lot of fun to get our hands on some of these. And if you know anybody who doesn't like chocolate and they got some Praline stouts ready to go in early December, I like a Christmas gift. You know, what better than a bottle of Bourbon County Brand Stout, chocolate praline, sure, Cherries Jubilee, any of the 6, and then throw a 4-pack of the original in, and I'll have a happy Christmas.
There you go. Very happy.
All right. So thanks again to Goose Island for giving us a sneak peek of the releases. Thanks to my co-host and executive producer of the award-winning Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer podcast. I'm Brian Noonan, host of the aforementioned award-winning podcast. We will talk to you very soon. Don't forget to follow us and all of that. And if you have any questions, drop a comment below, and we will do our best to answer them. Right?
Yes, full video episodes of our podcast on YouTube where we interview brewers from across Chicago. Brian and I have talked to our friends at Goose Island many times in the past, although not on Crafty Brewers proper, so keep an eye out later this year, because I am positive that we will be talking to at least one of the brewers mentioned in the press releases that we're looking at by the end of the year. Maybe not just about Bourbon County Brand Stout, but really about all the beers and their approach to brewing. So, we've got a couple episodes coming out this summer on a lighter release schedule. And starting in September, we're going to hit the ground running every couple weeks. Check us out, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all that. And we'll be drinking in the meantime.
You do a very nice job of getting all the plugs out.
I try.
I'm always impressed.
Love plugs.
You must do this for a living or something.
Some plugs, they supply electricity. Some people put them in their ears. A lot of different things you can do with plugs.
I'm going to do that when I listen back to this.
Put your plugs in?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I just pretend it's fantastic.
Just look at the beautiful pictures of Bourbon County I'm going to put on the screen.
Anyway, thanks again to Goose Island. Thanks to you for watching. Drink responsibly, support your local breweries, and cheers.
Cheers. Drinking water. I got to edit this thing later.